Hi friends, it's Miss Kelsey. Today I'm going to read you one of my favorite stories. This story is called Goodnight, Gorilla, and it's written by Peggy Rathmann. Goodnight, Gorilla. I want you to look very closely at the picture. What is that gorilla doing? You're right. He's going to take the keys of the zookeeper. Oh my goodness. What do you think he's going to do with the keys? Let's see. What did that gorilla do? He opened up his cage and now he's climbing out of his cage and he's following the zookeeper. And what does the zookeeper have in his hand? You're right, it's a flashlight, so he can see in the dark. Good night, elephant. What happened? The gorilla let the elephant out of the elephant's cage. Good night, lion. What is the gorilla going to do? He's going to let the lion out of the cage, I think. Oh no. Good night, hyena. Good night, giraffe. Now what is that gorilla doing? He is letting all of those animals out of the cage. Good night, armadillo. All of those animals are following the zookeeper. They are all standing behind him. Where is the zookeeper going? He walked out of the zoo and he's going to his house. And what are those animals doing? They're following the zookeeper home. And now they're walking where? They are inside the house. Do those types of animals belong inside of our house? No. A giraffe lives in the zoo. What animals can we have inside of our house? We can have a dog or a cat. Some people might have a hamster or some birds. Those types of animals are more pets than these types of animals that live in the zoo. Plus, do you think a giraffe would fit inside your house? I don't think so. Giraffes are very tall. And now look. What is the zookeeper doing? He's taking off his shoes and getting ready for bed. And look, there's his wife sleeping in bed with him. And what are those silly animals doing? They're all laying down, getting ready to go to sleep. And the zookeeper's wife says, "Good night, dear." Where is that gorilla? He's sleeping in bed with them. Oh man. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Who's saying good night? All of the animals are saying good night. Now what happened? It looks like the zookeeper's wife woke up and now her eyes are open. How do you think she's feeling? I think she's feeling surprised that she heard so many things say goodnight to her. Let's see what happens. So she turned on the light, and what did she see? She sees the gorilla and maybe the lion, and here's the elephant, and the little mouse in the drawer. She looks shocked. How would you feel if you woke up and saw a gorilla in your bed? I would be shocked and a little bit scared, I think. So now the zookeeper's wife is taking all of the animals back to the zoo. All of the animals are walking behind the zookeeper's wife. And the zookeeper's wife says, "Good night, zoo." But who is still following the zookeeper's wife? That pesky little gorilla is still following her home. Good night, dear. Good night. So now they're getting ready to go back to sleep. Good night, gorilla. So they let the gorilla stay in bed with them. I hope you enjoyed that story. We'll talk again soon. Bye.